if it can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if it can trust yourself when all me doubt you, but make allowances for their doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired of waiting or being lied about, don't deal in lies or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good nor walk too wise. These are the opening lines to a dear friend of mine's favorite poem. It's called If by Rudyard Kipling, and it speaks to leading your life in a noble and honorable way. That defines my friend very well, for his life and career has been noble and honorable. And so I'm dedicating this special edition of the Jordan Levy Show to that very extraordinary friend, John O'Brien.
John O'Brien is one of the most extraordinary individuals I have ever met in my life, and I'm not exaggerating.
There's an infectious enthusiasm and energy to John.
It's a little bigger than life.
For all the responsibility and accomplishments that he has, he's just an everyday guy.
John is a leader. Always has been, always will be.
I've never met anyone else that has that same level of commitment and been able to connect as well as he does at all levels.
John had a special place in his heart for the youth of our community.
Honestly, if other CEOs in Worcester were half, as committed to the community as John is, I think Worcester could be a much better place for young people in Worcester.
John O'Brien began his career in 1976 as a patient accounts manager at Cambridge Hospital. 10 years later, he was a CEO and began a 10-year journey to turn that sleepy hospital into the Cambridge Health Alliance, of which he became CEO in 1996, while simultaneously holding down the position of Cambridge Commissioner of Health.
If you think about his work in the state of Massachusetts, he has led Cambridge Health Alliance to incredible heights, a safety net organization that deeply cares about its patients and its communities, and John did that.
It was just a fixture of taking care of patients who were poor in Cambridge and Somerville. And when people were talking about public health and public policy, they always invoked John O'Brien.
John really embraced the role of the hospital as community leader, and because of his dual capacity as the public health director in the city of Cambridge, really focused on things outside of the hospital's walls.
John's passion for helping the undeserved probably developed in his early childhood. After his father died, John was raised in a large family by his extraordinary mother, who always taught him the value of always giving your best. So after doing just that in Cambridge, John turned his sights west.
When John came, we were struggling. Our margin was non-existent and the morale was at an all-time low.
We were in a lot of trouble. There was a distinct lack of leadership, and John filled that void immediately.
When we were interviewing different candidates, and we had a pretty, broad representation on the search committee, after John came through, we all looked at each other and said, do we need to do any more interviews? This is the guy. I mean, if we can get this man, this is who we want. And it was unanimous. I've never seen anything like that.
When there's instability of leadership and fiscal instability, it's very hard to stay on mission. And John turned the place around very dramatically in terms of financial performance.
And just like he had done throughout his career, he just jumped in, took his principled leadership style, brought everyone together as a team and said, first said, we can get through this, and then helped to lead the way to much better days.
He was just what the doctor ordered, for lack of a better term.
I'll never forget, he said, we're not going to look back, we're just going to move forward. And then he said, we're going to flip up the rearview mirror, and we're never going to look back.
He's had a great stabilizing role, and in particular, from my perspective as a faculty member at the medical school, he's done a great deal to improve relationships between the medical school and UMass Memorial.
John has been such an advocate for our physician community, both our employed physicians and the physicians throughout the community. and that's really had an impact on the community, the clinical system, the medical school, and on me personally.
We are the second largest healthcare system in the state of Massachusetts. We're in a very complex and challenging industry, right? So this is a very, very difficult company to run effectively. And during John's tenure, it's been run exceptionally well.
Well, actually, it's extraordinary. When he first came, about a decade ago, we had lunch, and we sat down, and he grabbed the napkin. I actually saved the napkin, and on it, he wrote all these things about how the clinical system and the basic system were going to cooperate and work together for a greater future. And I thought this was so fantastic. I've decided I'm going to actually frame it and give it to him as a going away present when I'm still going to give it to you, John, I promise. You can have it.
John O'Brien's often described as a regular guy, someone you'd love to have a beer with or just hang out with. So the question is, how does he do all the things he does?
So how does John do it? I don't think he sleeps, or he doesn't sleep enough. And as his personal physician, he and I have had many conversations about this.
He takes his job and what his duties are, especially at the hospital, very, very seriously. He's a master when it comes to priorities.
John's leadership style is one of helping individuals solve problems more than anything else. If you want to engage John, come to him with the problem and say, John, I need your help, and you'll have his full attention.
John O'Brien can meet the President of the United States in the afternoon and be back and go on rounds and meet somebody who's come in who's ill or sick and make them know that they care, that they matter to John, and that UMass Memorial cares about them and their health.
One of the most impressive things about John as a healthcare thought leader is not only what he's achieved in terms of pushing the boundaries of community health improvement, which is very near and dear to his heart, but that he has done so with a grace and humility that endears him to everyone who knows him, who works with him, or who benefits from his efforts. As my colleague Jack Berry puts it, there is none better.
He cares deeply about what he does every day, in every manner that he does it, from the smallest phone call of an issue that he gets to the biggest concern that the Lieutenant Governor generally calls him about. What they don't know is that John takes every one of those phone calls.
I think it's in his DNA. You know, it really goes to this concept. I was talking about this sense of citizenship, of giving back. John doesn't do anything, you know, half-hearted or halfway. It's either all or nothing.
And John is always there with the patient focus, and the last question he asks is, what can I do to help? That's very inspiring.
I've met with and have had the pleasure of working with many CEOs. And the first thing you know about John O'Brien after you've worked with him, he's in healthcare because he wants to be. John could be a successful CEO in any one of the industries that I've been involved in.
So, in my world, the healthcare leaders I deal with are often fierce competitors, and John is as good a competitor as any, but he has such great respect, and I've never heard anyone say anything but good about John O'Brien. It speaks to his character, and it speaks to the legacy that he's leaving here in the Commonwealth.
That's high praise for any CEO, tough, compassionate, caring. And considering that UMass Memorial Healthcare is a $2.3 billion operation, John O'Brien's leadership skills are even more enviable. And you know, we could easily end this tribute to John O'Brien right now, and most people would be suitably impressed. But the reality is that this is only part of the tale. To borrow a fellow broadcaster's famous line, now for the rest of the story.
When John came, I was a little skeptical about his abilities, and I called over the second day looking for him, and they said, well, he's not here. Like, the second day of work, you're not there, where is he? Well, John was out painting houses for Habitat for Humanity, so we could get a feel for the community and
let everyone know in Worcester that he expected to participate fully in what went on in our community.
He's been way in front of everyone else on that whole issue. And you've seen it here at UMass, where he has led so many initiatives. He tells about the stories where he goes to local schools and talks about eating healthy and childhood obesity and things of that sort. So it's that passion that he believes in.
He is a tremendous individual that as a CEO really had an opportunity to make a difference in this community. Our CareMobile is playing a significant role in providing medical and dental services, and we do preventive care at 16 elementary schools. He's co-chaired the Youth Council, supported some of our initiatives to address healthy eating in the Bell Hill neighborhood. We have some community gardens in the area.
Well, the garden became a key point to programs because we're really, UMass Memorial is really involved in a healthy community. So to be a healthy community, you need healthy produce.
This is my first time gardening here, and it's wonderful. I loved it. I loved it. It's a good experience for us, you know. I lived here for 19 years, and this is my first time here doing, you know, something with the community.
It gives me some ambition. It gives me some ideas to be creative, things to do. I've been doing projects at home for the garden, to put in the garden.
Yeah, it's a family thing, you know. It's like now we feel like family. We look after each other, you know, through good and bad, you know, and everything, and we help each other.
Part of what makes a community healthy is obviously how safe your neighborhood is. One violent community in Maine South felt the Substance Abuse Treatment Center would help solve some of the problems. And once again, John stepped up.
We're at the Hector Reyes House, which is a program that was opened through the help of UMass. It's a substance abuse treatment facility for Latino men. We didn't have a place to meet. We didn't know how to put this together. I'm a physician, I'm not an organizer. We needed an office, we needed a place, we needed computers, we needed to figure out how we started it. All of that came through John O'Brien.
I thought I was gonna die underneath the bridge, you know, of alcoholism or drug addiction. I thought I wasn't gonna even make it out of there. Oh, the Hector Reyes saved my life. Now I'm reaching for the skies because I got the skills and the knowledge to make it to the sky. You know, it saved my life. That's all it had to do was tell me you were worth something today. And by that alone, if I can survive the streets, I can survive living life on life's terms.
John also stepped up and helped develop a public-private partnership between the City of Worcester, the state, and UMass to promote first-time home ownership in the Bell Hill neighborhood. To date, 25 new homeowners, like Nadi Vega, are creating a safe and friendly environment for themselves, their families, and the community.
I have 3 bedrooms. I have a big garage, nice basement. I have a very nice kitchen, bigger living room compared to what I had before. John O'Brien, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity and my kids to have our own property. We are very thankful and we're very happy.
John O'Brien gets it. As he's demonstrated throughout his career, he understands the importance of community. And there's one area in particular where he has placed a tremendous amount of effort, and that's youth.
I was the co-chair of an initiative called Building Brighter Futures with Youth with John. It was a great opportunity for me to get to work with him. He was pretty new to coming to Worcester at the time, and I had heard great things about him. And to have him, of all the issues he could choose when coming to Worcester, to have it be youth and youth development was pretty extraordinary.
Yeah, seeing young people graduate from school, graduate from college, and even go back to work at UMass, or get back into the work of the community.
I would say 5 years ago, or maybe 6 years ago, he met this person by the name of Louis Christian. Louis was a high school individual who went to North High School right here in this area of the city of Worcester. And John pretty much took Louis under his wing.
Well, this has been a tremendous impact on my life because I didn't have a future before, you know? I had nowhere to go. I mean, a lot of kids are in my same situation.
Louis worked here on a part-time basis in the summer.
He worked in the orthopedics department, and John got very close with Louis.
John always said that when he was growing up, he had a lot of difficulties and a lot of struggles. He had a big family, one parent, and he said that a lot of people guided him and helped him in, you know, in things that he did, and so he would like to give back. I feel like it is my responsibility now to have the same impact that he had on me with other kids.
And then we also had an individual by the name of Nadia Notori. Nadia actually temped in our office here, the executive office. She was our temporary receptionist during the summertime.
John is an awesome guy. He is like a father to me. He helped me a lot throughout my school, as an advisor and giving me ideas of how it's like to be in school, because that was like, when I first met him was like a couple of years when I came from Africa, so I didn't really have didn't know much about America. I would love to be a mentor to other kids and, you know, show them the right path, because I was able to have somebody like John to help me out.
And it's not just kids that John has inspired. He inspires leaders in the community, legislators, community organizers, and the people who shape the world we live in.
Well, we're here at Riley's, I think, to tell a story, I think in many ways, that is about what John O'Brien is all about. It's about getting out into the community, understanding problems, communicating, and this is where I first met John O'Brien 10 plus years ago.
What he has done in the community when he puts his support behind the work of the Infant Mortality Task Force. What he has done when he goes out in the neighborhoods and supports the work of community gardens and farmers markets. I mean, most people wouldn't think of that being supported by the healthcare system, but when under John's leadership, it's pronounced.
It's inspired me to stretch myself into areas that might have been different from the Chamber of Commerce perspective.
The CEO of my organization was retiring. I think they wanted to make sure the culture jar didn't change too much, so they asked me to do it, and I said yes. But I will say that I didn't become a real CEO until I started working with John.
And I think it just says a lot about what UMass means to our community, for all that they do in the range of health and cutting-edge techniques and medical treatments, their alignment with the UMass Medical School, and what it means to our citizens for just to have that resource this close by. But take it beyond that as to how they integrate with their staff and to all of our community-based efforts around health, public health, and beyond. It speaks to a mindset that John brings to bear, which is that we're here to serve and that we'll bring our expertise to bear and we'll make the city a better place.
Worcester is absolutely a better place because of John O'Brien. It'll be a better place for years to come. He has made sure that the CEOs of institutions large and small and businesses large and small understand that we benefit when we are thinking outwardly and working together and collaboratively, that the bottom line can do just as well when you're working with others on community solutions, community problems, and that's what John has really been all about.
I've met presidents, I've met secretaries of various departments, leaders from all around the world, people who have won Nobel Prizes. I mean, I've met a lot of wonderful people. And if I had to make a list, a short list of some of the most extraordinary people that I've ever met, John O'Brien would be on that list.
What else can you say about a man who has given his life to a mission of helping everyone around him to become better, who has made the city of Cambridge, the city and county of Worcester, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and the United States a better place? You can say thank you, and that's what this program is meant to do. Thank you, John. You have given us your best. And now we wish you the best. But before we go, Gary and a few friends have something to say.
We're down in Cambridge City next to Boston Way. Worked a guy our board wanted, they said find a way. They made him such an offer he could not refuse. Come on out to Worcester, help us end our blues. The vision that he showed us could not be clearer. Go ahead and flip up the rearview mirror. Don't go, Johnny, Johnny, don't go. 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 Johnny, don't go. He blew into this town like no other before. He reached out to all with an open door. Right away they knew they had a real good friend, a person who would help them to the very end. He never gave a promise he would not fulfill in a community he knew could not stand still. Don't go, Johnny, Johnny, don't go. 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 Johnny, don't go. Now the time has come for you to move along. I had to think up lyrics for this silly song. It really wasn't hard for me to write this pop. I only remember the real good stuff. We promise a day comes we will not find. You can bet that we'll be thinking of this single line. Don't go, Johnny, Johnny, don't go. 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 Johnny, don't go. Seriously, don't go.